Greetings and welcome to Chapter 9, and we're going to be covering triads in second inversion. So those are 6/4 triads, triads that have the fifth of the chord in the bass. So that creates a fourth between two of the voices, and that's considered unstable, so composers use 6/4 triads in only certain places. So why don't we look at that really quick before we get started. So here's a Toby Rush handout, and I'm sure you're familiar with these now if you've been watching my videos. These are really great quick reference. They're also in your book. So we'll start here though. So let's start with the cadential 6/4. This happens at a cadence at the end of a phrase or musical thought, and in that we have a tonic triad in second inversion right here, the F 6/4 triad, F over C, and it's followed by a root position dominant chord at a cadence. So here we have the 5 chord, a C major root position, and then we end on the 1. So this is called a cadential 6/4, and it works nicely. It just extends the resolution of the dominant chord to the 1. So that's one place that we can use a 6/4 triad. Another is the passing 6/4, which is a 6/4 triad placed in second inversion where the bass is treated like a passing tone, the middle note of a stepwise line moving up or down. So here we have the 6/4, the 5 chord, the C over G this time, and the F is an F over A, so that's first inversion, and it's moving down A, G, F. So we have the passing 6/4 here. Another place is the pedal 6/4. The pedal 6/4 chord is a second inversion chord where the bass is treated like a pedal tone, a note preceded and followed by the same note. So here we see that. We have the 6/4 chord in the middle. That's a B flat major over F. And we have a 1 chord, the F major, and another 1 here. So you see the pedal tone here. That's a pedal 6/4. And there's another place where we can use a 6/4. In the book here, since Toby Rush doesn't cover that, we find the bass arpeggiation and the melodic bass. Whereas here we're in the key of A major. So we have an E chord, and we have the E, the B, the G sharp, and the E. So you see the B is the 5th of the E major chord, the E major triad, and that's the 6/4 here, and it's moving through an arpeggiated bass line. So the book gets into detail more about all of these, so feel free to look that up and study it for yourself. But the Toby Rush is a way to just get a quick grasp of it, and it's very clear. So if you need more detail, just check out the book. So here we are in exercise 9-1, and we are to analyze this piece with Roman numerals and to identify the 6/4 chords that we encounter. So I'm familiar with this little passage of Clementi Sonatina. It's a really fun one to play. So let's get started. We have one flat, and so that's indicating one of two things. We could be in F major or D minor. So let's check it out. It starts on an F. I have an FAC, there's an F major triad. And then we have a C major going to an F major. So that's a 5-1. That's a good indicator that we are in the key of F. And I don't see any C sharps, which is the leading tone of the D minor. And that would be an indicator that we're in the minor chord using the harmonic minor scale. So we are in F. Now, let's analyze our chords here. And these are all arpeggiated, so they're broken chords, but nonetheless, they are chords. And we have a 1. And that 1 continues through this measure, as well as this measure. Now, we have the F, A, and now the C is in the bass. Root, 3rd, 5th, the 5th is in the bass. So, that is a 1-6-4. And we have that here again. And then we have C, E, G, which is a C major. And that is a 5 chord, key to F. And then we're going to back to F1. Okay. So, right off the bat, hopefully you can tell that that is a cadential 6/4. Okay. And we're at a cadence 5-1 with the 1-6-4 following it. Okay, so I'll put parentheses here, and I'll just put cadential. Okay. Now, F, B flat, D. Okay, so if we restack that, B flat, D, F, B flat, D, F, that is a B flat major, right? So in the key of F, that would be the 4 chord. And since it has the F in the bass, that would be a 4-6-4. And then we go back to the 1 chord. And we stay on the 1. And it looks like, since we have an F here, an F here, and an F here, so we have F's on both sides of this chord. That would be the pedal. Okay. Now, this part we're going to have to look more at the treble clef to find out the chord. So here we have a B flat, and we have a C, E, G. Okay, so C, E, G, B flat is a C dominant 7th, right? And since the B flat is in the bass, that would be a 3rd inversion, So you have 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 4, 2. Okay, so we have a 5, 4, 2, and then we have an A, C, F, A, F, A, C with an A in the bass. So that would be a first inversion 1 chord. And then F, A, C, we have the 1. Okay, so here we go. C, F, A, that's another 1, 6, 4. And we move C, E, G to the 5 chord. Okay, so again, we're at the end of a phrase, and here it is, the cadential 6/4. So there we go. First section's done, and I'll see you in the next section. Okay, so here we are in part B, and we are to fill in the missing inner voices and identify any 6/4 chords by type. So let's get started. Looks like we're in D minor this time. Like I was saying before, see how we have the C sharp? That's the leading tone, half step away from the tonic. Right? And that's the indicator that we're in D minor, not F major. Just a little review there. Okay, so let's start voicing these chords. We have a D minor, so we need D, F, and A. And we've got the D's doubled, so the root is doubled. That's good. So put the F here, the alto, and the A, and the tenor. We voiced our first chord. Let's see how that works out. Now we have a 5 chord, 5, 6, 4. So the 5 chord in D major is A, and A, C sharp, E, and it has an E in the bass, so it is a 6/4. And we can keep the common tone here, keep the A. There's the root of our chord, and now we just need the 5th, so we can move that F nicely stepwise down to the nearest chord tone. Very smooth voice leading. And checking for parallels, any unwanted parallel motion, and I don't see anything. Very good. So our next chord is a D minor with an F in the bass this time, a 1, 6. So we have the D and the F, and so looks like we have another common tone. D, F, A, there's the 5th of our chord. And in minor first inversion, we can double the bass or the soprano. So let's double the bass. Send that E right back up to F. Very smooth. Okay. We have parallel octaves between the bass and the alto. See that? E to F, E to F. Okay, so maybe let's not. Let's double the soprano. So the E still walks stepwise down. Nice. And like as it says here in the Toby brush, in minor first inversion triads, composers double the bass or the soprano. So we're covered there. I like this. A quick note here. Here's another way to think of it. The only time you can't double the bass is in first inversion major triads, where you should double the soprano instead. Okay? Any other time you can double the bass. In this case, you can double the bass or the soprano. So, good old Toby brush. Now let's see. We have a 4 chord. So D, E, F, G. We know the 4 chord is minor. So we have G, B flat, D. Now, let's see, we can keep the common tone here. That works nicely. And then we could double the soprano, but it's a minor, so well, we could double the bass or the soprano because it's minor. But let's see, that might make it nice. We could just double the bass like this. But when we go to our 5 chord here, the A major, the smoothest voice leading, we put the C sharp here. And G to C sharp creates a tritone. It's an augmented fourth, so we want to try and avoid augmented intervals. So let's make that a B flat. Yeah. And then B flat to C sharp. Well, that's an augmented second, isn't it? Yeah. I want to try and avoid that. So, well, there's a way we can do that. And we can just walk this D down to C sharp here. Right? So we have A, C sharp, and A. So in this case, we're going to have to omit the 5th, because if we try to put it, here's the C and E, if we put an E here, that would be voice crossing. Because technically, that is E4, right? We don't want to cross voices, so we'll just double the bass here. So the B flat really works out nicely there anyway, because if we didn't have that and we tried to double the bass again here, that would be parallel octaves, right? Even though they're in unison. So that looks like it's going to work out nicely. Let's check again, make sure there's nothing wrong. A to E is a perfect 5th. And it's going to perfect fourth. Very good. E to E. Now we fixed that already, right? So here's an octave. Going to minor 6. That's fine. That's oblique motion. And these are thirds. Oh, B flat, going down to A. So we have the tenor and the soprano both trying to go down to this A, and that creates parallel octaves. So let's see. We don't want to omit the third in a triad, because that tells you what quality it is, if it's major or minor. So let's see. We have to do something with this note. Well, it looks like we have the G now, and that's going up to the A. Well, this has to be different. We don't want parallel octaves there, so what if we moved the D here? Creates a little leap, but that's okay. And then we could put the G here. Let's see if that works. Okay. Now, that's fine. It's contrary motion. And it's similar motion. That's fine. We're going to need to change this though. Now, I think it might be better. Well, D can move. Yeah, D can move down to that C sharp. Very nicely. And the G can move to the E. And we have a complete chord now. Let's see if that works out. Yeah, no more parallels. Okay, good. So, ran into a little trouble there, but we got through it. Let's check out what kind of 6/4 this is. And if we look at the bass line, you can see the passing tone right there. So it's a passing 6/4. Okay. Now I'm gonna put 6/4 just in case. Yeah. Don't want to confuse it with like a passing tone or something. Okay, so number 1 is done. Now, number 3. We're in F sharp minor. Okay. And our first chord is a 1/6. So F sharp minor over A. So F sharp minor is F sharp, A, C sharp. We've already got the A and the C sharp. So we're going to need an F sharp somewhere, and I think the best place we can find that is here. Right? And the second inversion triads, composers usually double the bass, and we can do that like this. So that's cool. Let's see how that works out. Now our 4 chord in F sharp minor is B minor. So B minor has B, D, and F sharp. So we have the B doubled. We can keep the common tone here, and then put the third of our chord here. And that seems to work nicely. Yeah, no parallels. Good. So our 5 chord in F sharp minor would be C sharp. And they want the major here. So yeah, this is indicating major. Okay, so we need a C sharp, E sharp, and G sharp. So looks like we can put the E sharp here. Smooth voice leading there. And this is a major. So usually we double the bass anyway, so let's just do that. Okay. Now we have a 1-6-4 here, the F sharp minor over C sharp. So looks like that leading tone can move right back up to the tonic, the root of our chord. And we have the 5th in the bass. We can double that. And yes, these are octaves, but they're moving in static motion. So it's not parallel motion. So that's fine. You can have that. Now our 5 chord again. Looks like you can just easily move that back down to E sharp and double it again. As long as it's in static motion, we're okay. Okay, so let's check. I don't see any parallels there. So now let's look at our 6-4. We have a C sharp, right? And we have a C sharp and another C sharp. So that would be a pedal, right? Boom, boom, boom. Okay. And we have one more in this section B here. And we're in B flat major. And we need to voice the 1 chord. So could do that like this. Now we're going to have to make these quarter notes. Because we have a chord here and a chord here. The soprano and the bass are being held for these 3 beats. So we don't need to worry about those. We have to voice the inner voices now. So we have the B flat done. Our next chord is the 4 chord. And in B flat major, the 4 chord would be E flat. And the 4 chord is major. So 6/4 E flat over B flat. E flat, G, B flat. Okay. So we got the B flat. Can move that F right up to G. There's one option. Can try it. And then move the D up to E flat. Okay. So F to D, that is a major 6th, and G to E flat is a minor 6th, so that's fine. All right, good. And back to the 1 chord. So we can just move these notes right back where they were. Nice and easy. Okay. And so we're on the 7 diminished 6. So that's the diminished chord in first inversion, the leading tone triad, and in the key of B flat, the leading tone would be A. So we have the A diminished. So that would be A, C, E flat. Okay. And we've got the A, and we've got the C, so we need an E flat. A, C, E flat. See, it's in first inversion like most diminished chords are. So I think we'll try a C here. And the F will just walk on down to E flat there. Okay. Okay. A lot of 6ths here. Yes. 6ths are cool. We can move parallel 6, no problem, anytime. So let's see. Good. Okay. Now we have the 1/6. So we have a B flat major with a D in the bass. Okay. So we try the B flat here. Let's see. Well, the most obvious choice would be to move the E up to F, right? And then the C up to D, right? This is the nearest chord tones. But what happened? Anything bad? No. Those are 6ths. So we're cool there. If we want to do that, why not? Okay, now our 4 chord in B flat again is E flat. So let's think about that. Let's see. D to E flat. And sixths again. Oh, but if we look here, we have the C to D, and D to D, C to C. Okay, so we have parallel octaves in the bass and alto. Okay, so yeah, before we keep going on with that, let's fix that. Sorry about that. But sometimes it's good to see me make mistakes. That way you learn how to fix them. So we just switch the voices. We'll put the F here. All right. And B flat here. And we've doubled the soprano in major first inversion. That's even better with the doubling, right? Let's see. Major first inversion triads composers doubled the soprano. All right, so good call both ways. Now our 4 chord. We have the E flat major, E flat, G, B flat. So let's double the bass, and we'll keep a common tone here. See what happens. No parallels. Very good. Now we have the 5 chord in B flat, which is F major. So F, A, C. So the F's are doubled. We need an A and a C. So this is really the only way to do that. And we'll see how that works out. That's good. That's good. Okay. Yeah, those are 6. Yeah, good. And we're good. So let's check it out and see what kind of 6/4 chord this is. And this truly is a pedal, because that note is just holding down there, right, as a 6/4 passes by back to the 1. So we'll put pedal 6/4 there. And there we are. We're done with section B. So I will see you in section C. Okay, so here we are in part C. We're to realize these figured basses for 3 or 4 voices, striving to create a good outer voice counterpoint. Notice the frequent use of the 5/3, the root position, or the equivalent such as the 5 sharp here. It means to raise the 3rd, a half step. To indicate root position triads following an inverted chord. Analyze with Roman numerals and label 6/4 types. So Now we have key signature with 3 sharps. It could be one of 2 things: A major or F sharp minor. And we see an E sharp there, which is the leading tone to F sharp. So we know that it's in minor. It also ends on an F. We have, yeah, looks like we have C sharp 5-1, possibly a cadential 6-4 here. You can already tell that. All right, so let's voice these chords. We'll put a lowercase f sharp there, indicating minor. So our 1 chord, F sharp A C. We start with our soprano here. And then we can double the bass there. And then we'll put our C sharp here. Okay. Now we have the C sharp major, right, over E sharp because it's first inversion. So we can keep the common tone here, the C sharp, and C sharp E G. We just need a G sharp, and it's like we can move those 2 voices here. All right, pretty simple. Now we're going back, so same chord. Let's keep the common tone again, and just move these notes back out. Now, this is let's do our analysis real quick. So here's a 1, and this is a 5, 6, back to the 1. Okay. Now we know that this is a first inversion triad. So if we place the root down here for a sec, boom, that's on the B line. So we have B, D, and then F sharp, right? So that would indicate a B minor, and in the key of F minor, that would be the 4 chord. So it would be a minor 4. And first inversion, B minor over D. Okay, so we need a root. Let's take care of the soprano. And then we have a common tone here. Keeping the common tone is almost always cool. And then we double the bass. Perfect. That's what we like to do with these second inversion. Well, that's actually a first inversion, but that's fine. We have our choice, so yeah. Checking for any parallels. Any octaves there. Here's an octave, F to F. It's moving in oblique motion, so that's good. Everything looks good so far. Now we have a 6/4. So we know that this is the 5th of the chord. So if we go, here's the 3rd A, and here's the root. There it is, F sharp A C. It's a 1/6/4. All right. F sharp minor over C sharp. So we need an F sharp, an A, and probably another C sharp. So let's put the C sharp up here. Keep that melody interesting. And then we have common tone. So now we just need a third of our chord to A. And we have that there. Parallel motion, but it's just fine. So oblique motion, another oblique motion. Looks good. Okay. Now we have the 5, the sharp. So that's a 5/3, but with a raised third. So this is root position, C sharp, E, there's a third, E sharp, right, again, and then the G sharp. So this is a 5 chord in root position. And C, so looks like can move the G there, the G sharp, I mean. And then this looks like a nice place for the E sharp. And then we have our common tone. There we go. Okay. This is moving parallel motion. So you got A to F, the minor 6, and yes, good. Okay, so these are fine sixths, and we're moving on to, looks like the 1 chord in root position, and can move that back up. A. You can have as much distance as you want between tenor and bass, so that's fine. And this leading tone can move nicely back home, the F sharp, and we keep our common tone here. All right. And that looks good. So, yeah. Okay, so let's take a quick break and I'll be right back. Oh, I almost forgot. What kind of 6/4 is this? Well, 1/6/4, 5/1. That is cadential, right? Okay. Now let's take a little break. Okay, so we're back on number 3, and I wanted to show you a little something, a trick that I found. That's something I noticed. Since we're supposed to identify the type of 6/4 triad, You can easily see it just by looking at the bass line. So here, looks like we have a passing 6/4, right? Okay, so starting out we have 3 flats, and we're going to look for a cadence to find the key that we're in. So it could be E flat major or C minor, right? Okay, that's a B flat instead of a B natural, but nevertheless, let's keep going. And here we have a G natural. G with a natural third above it, so that would be the B natural. So that's going to build a G major triad, and then we're ending on C. So G to C, that would be a 5/1 in C minor. So there we go. Now we know what key we're in. And let's see, so I might have put this passing 6/4 a little high because we have to do the Roman numeral analysis, so I just wanted to show you that. So we'll put that back later after we do the analysis and fill in our chords. So looks like we're beginning on a 1 chord, so C minor. So we have the C, E flat, and G. And we already have the C, so it looks like I need an E flat, a G, and I want to try and double the bass. So we could do that. Or we could double the soprano. Let's see. Since the bass note is up so high, let's start our melody a little higher. I'll give some space to fill in the chords. Maybe I'll cramp down here, right? So let's try that. And we have a G. We have E flat G, and we could either double the bass or we could double the soprano. So let's try doubling the soprano. Alright, so we have a first inversion. That would mean the root of our chord is a third below, right? So we have a G and then B flat D, so that would be a minor 5 chord. Let's put that down here, minor 5, all right? And this is a 1. You can tell the minor 5 because the major 5 chord looks like this, and this is the minor. Just a little review there. It's very important though. So G, B flat, D. Looks like we have a common tone, and we'll keep that. And put the D here safely, and we can double the bass there. Now, so looking back, it's a good thing I didn't put the C there in the soprano, because that would have created parallel octaves between the soprano and the bass, a C to B flat, to C to B flat. That worked out nicely. Now, oh, let me put my inversion symbol. And here we have an A flat, first inversion. So if we go down a third to the next line, that would be the root. So that's an F. If we build our triad, F, A flat, C, that would be F minor. C, D, E flat, F, that would be our 4 chord. Right? So let me just put that here, and that's a minor as well. 4, 6, first inversion. Okay, so we need an F, an A flat, and a C. So let's see, we could keep going down in thirds and put our C there. Parallel thirds are fine. It's parallel fifths that we need to worry about. So now we just need an F, so we can bring the G down. Try that. And then we could bring the B flat up to C. It's nice to do that with the melody when you have a leap, to resolve it in the opposite direction. Right? So we have a leap going down and resolving it up. And let's see if that works. If we've created any unwanted parallels. Okay, that's fine. Let's see, so we have, here's, yep, B flat to B flat an octave, and these are moving in contrary motion, so that's good. D to G, C to F, those are fourths, so that's fine. Looks good. Alright, this is a 6/4 triad, so that's second inversion, right? So this is the 5th of a chord. So if we go down the 5th, we have C. C, E flat, G. So we're doing a 1/6/4. Alright. Now, we can keep the common tone here. The tenor. Now we need an E flat and a G. And the F is nicely to E flat. And the C can do a little leap down to G. That's fine. C to C, C to G, that's good. Okay. The sixth, alright. There's a fourth, moving to a third, and we're good. Okay. Now, I recommend you do the same steps after each chord, check for parallels. That way, you know, you don't wait till you're done and then go back and be like, oh, there's a parallel. Then you have to sometimes change a lot of things. It's good to check along the way and then to check one more time when you're done, because they're easy to miss, you know. Let's see. Now, 6. So this is the first inversion, right? So we have D. If we go down a third, we have the D as the root of our chord. D, F, A flat. D, F, A flat would be a diminished chord. So that would be D diminished, and that would be a 2 chord. Because the 2 chord in minor is diminished. We have 2 diminished 6. Now, we need a D and an A flat. So we could, well, look at the melody. We have another leap of a fourth going down, and we can resolve it up. That's good voice leading. Okay. Same thing here. Boom, boom, boom. That's kind of a nice little pattern. I bet that's going to sound good. Now, let's get the root of our chord going here. A flat moves nicely down there. An oblique motion, so we know there's no parallels. And then the C can hop down a major third to the A flat here. Okay. Checking for parallels. C to G. Yes, contrary motion. That's good. Moving into an octave. And then G to G. It's contrary motion. Good. That's moving into a 10th. And then we have 6th. And yeah, that's fine. So we're good. Now we already talked about this chord. This is a root position triad, but with a raised third, a natural 3. So in this case, we put our natural sign right next to it, and that is G, B, and if we build the triad G, B, D, it'd be a G major. So we can keep the common tone here, and we already have our complete chord. So now our melodic line can just go down here to G. Alright. Now, we have a 5th going to a 4th. It's an augmented 5th. And then we have an octave. Ah, okay. And that's moving in contrary motion, so we know that's cool. And then we have a third F to A flat, minor third, or 10th. And then that's fine. So now let's check the 6 here. Yeah, looking good. Okay, so we're down to our last chord, the tonic triad, C, E flat, G. Oh, let me write this in. This is a major 5 chord. Now you can really tell the difference, right? So the C minor, C, E flat, G, we can keep the common tone here. And this B natural, the leading tone, its tendency is to resolve up to the tonic. It's in an inner voice, so technically we don't have to. It's called frustrating the leading tone, but in this case, why not do it? I don't see any reason why not to. So, and we can put the third here, E flat. Okay, checking for parallels. That looks good. And another contrary motion, octave to 5th. That's good. Yeah. So last thing to do is analyze that, and we have a passing 6/4. Can you see that there? Okay, good. So we're done with this section, and I'll see you in the next section. Thank you. Okay, so here we are in part D, and we are to harmonize each unfigured bass with a good tonal progression, compose a soprano line that will both fit the progression and create a good outer voice counterpoint with the bass, fill in alto and tenor parts to make a 4-part texture, and be sure to include a 6/4 chord in each one and identify the 6/4 type. So we're going to be doing number 1, and I already did this. I worked it out. This is what I came up with, and I'll explain to you the process that I took and why I did certain things that I did. So the first thing I did was analyze the progression and to figure out the key signature, and I noticed that it starts on a D, and we have an A and a D. So in D minor, A major to D minor would be a 5-to-1 cadence, right? So I figured we are in D minor, other than the relative major, which would be F, right? So let's just walk through some of this here. So I first started by putting my lowercase d there, and we start with the 1 chord. And right off the bat, I saw a good place for a passing 6/4. The 5 chord, the A major, fits nicely here. See, if this is the 5th of the chord, we go down to the 3rd and to the root. We land on A. So we have A, C, E. Now I chose to make it major because that's what's commonly done. In this era of music, and also it establishes the key right off the bat. If you're doing a 1-5 to some kind of 1, you establish the key right off the bat. So we can go back to the 1 here, which I did, the D minor over F, D, F, A. So that would be first inversion. It would be 1-6. Okay. Now, here you have the G, and you have two choices. You can go to the 4 in root position, the G minor, G, B flat, D, or you can go to the 2 in first inversion, the 2 diminished, E, G, B flat. Now, I chose the 2 diminished 6 in the end because I had a big problem going from 4 to 5 here. Root position 5 chord. And it was also kind of difficult with the 2 chord because of the B flat going to a C sharp. B flat to C sharp is an augmented second. And when it comes to leaps, the very first thing it says in the book, avoid augmented intervals. Okay, so I ran into some problems there trying to resolve these 2 chords, and the only way I could do it was to make the 5 chord minor. So I made it minor. Let me show you that here. So let me correct that there. That's an E diminished over G. So you're welcome to try it, with the 4 chord. I don't know if any of you had problems resolving the 4 to 5 like I did with the major. That B flat to C sharp is really hard to get around, and the parallel octaves were happening when I tried to move the B flat down to A. It would become parallel octaves between tenor and soprano. I tried doing G to C sharp here, and that's an augmented 4th. All right, so it was just a mess. So I chose the A minor here, and that solved the problem. B flat to C is just a major second. So, and in playing it, it actually sounded kind of nice. Going to that minor here, back to the 1, and then to the major, creating a stronger pull. So it was a little texture in there that was really nice to the ear. So it worked out well. So anyways, that's what I did. And 5 likes to go to 1. So, and of course, 5 to 1. And I chose to make that a dominant 7th for a stronger ending there. So, let's put the 5, 7, and then the 1. So, the melodic line is really important too, and I wanted to create some counterpoint So basically, I wanted to go in the opposite direction of the bass from the very beginning. So I started with a D here. And then down to the C sharp. Make that major, right? And then the tendency tone, the leading tone tends to go back home, so I want to do that. Unless you're going in a scale-wise motion all the way down, and this chord doesn't allow me to do that. So that's why I chose that. And then I just filled in the inner voices here. The D minor, we have the F, and the A. And then we have a common tone here, since this is an A major. There we go. A, C sharp, E. That works nicely. And I've already checked these for parallels, so we're cool. And the D over F, have a common tone, A. And then I just bring this down to D here, doubling the soprano. Okay. So the E diminished, E, G, B flat. Now, I chose to leap here because so far it's all been stepwise. So I wanted to leap. You know, we want to keep the melody simple yet interesting. The nice contour. And then to fill the rest out, just the root of the chord. And then I doubled the soprano. Okay. Now, we have the minor 5 chord. And so A, C, E, this B flat moves nicely to the C. Got a little leap, and then it resolves in the opposite direction to the leap, which is a nice choice. And then we have a common tone here. Right. And just double the bass there. So that looks real easy right now, but trust me, it took me quite a while to figure that out. So don't feel bad. I've been doing this a long time and it still gets me sometimes. So hang in there. And so now we're on to one chord. I wanted to do another leap in the melody to keep it interesting. So there we go. There's the A. And that's the 5th of the D minor. So we have the root, the 5th. Now we just need the 3rd. You can move nicely there. Stepwise, nearest chord tone, and keep the common tone here in the tenor. Okay. Now, I'd say we do another leap. Bring it up to the leading tone. The C sharp is the 3rd of the A major, right? And then it resolves up home to the D. So there are a lot of ways you could go about this. there are 3 focal points here, which is not that great. You know, you could use the A here, and I think that would be fine. And then leave that as a focal point. So that's an option. I don't know how that would work with parallels, but it looks like it would be just fine. Yeah. So I guess I could do that. Let's finish this off here. Now, we got a 1, we got the common tone, the A, and the tenor here. And then I decided to omit the 5th and put the 7th in. Okay. A lot of times with 5-to-1 cadences, the perfect authentic cadence in root position is very difficult to resolve. There's only a couple ways, and one of them is incomplete 5 chord to a complete 1, and I chose that option here. So it's an incomplete 5. There's no 5th. So remember, in a 7th chord you can omit the 5th as well as a triad, but you must have the 3rd in a triad, and you must have the root, the 3rd, and the 7th in a 7th chord. So the leading tone resolves up, the 7th resolves down to the 3rd of the chord, and I kept the common tone here. Okay. All right. So, for the sake of melodic, the focal point, the single focal point, I'm going to try this. Okay. Let's see, did that create any problems? No. No. I don't see anything. Good. How about here? No. Okay. We're good there. We're good. What about here? Parallel 5ths. Wait a minute. That is a perfect 5th to a diminished 5th. And I think those are okay as long as it's not involving the bass. Let me check that. And here we go. The Fiendish 5. This is a great handout. So if you don't have one, maybe you should ask and see if you can get one. Now, the unequal 5ths are diminished 5th to perfect 5th, or perfect 5th to diminished 5th. They are allowed, except for diminished 5th to perfect 5th involving the bass. So, it's not involving the bass. Right? We have a perfect 5th, D to A, and then a diminished 5th, E to B flat. Okay, because E to B natural would be a perfect 5th. So since it's not involving the bass, we're good. Let's keep checking. That was a close one. Oh, yes, and we have parallel octaves here. And plus that leading tone, it wants to move back home. That's its tendency. So I want to follow that. So one good voice leading rule leads to another, and if you break one, other things happen. So yeah, sorry about the whole focal point thing, but I think it's still a nice melody. And this is the progression. Here we go. See that? That's the passing 6/4. And there it is. So maybe I'll play this for you and you can hear how it sounds. Okay, see you there. Bye. Okay, so I'm going to play the original one, and I made some changes to it, so you can hear both and compare. So here's the original. I think it sounds nice. The melody and with the bass, it's moving in a lot of the same direction, especially when I changed it to. That's not counterpoint. They're moving in the same direction, except for here. Same direction again. Little counterpoint there, in the same direction. So, I changed it. And, I decided, let me just zoom in and show you. Okay, so I decided to do something different with the melody, and that also changed the alto and the tenor line. So, and I also changed this to a 4 chord, and the melody is much more contrapuntal. You can see that it's moving, it's descending here and ascending here, both ways. So that's really cool. And it's moving in opposite directions here too. So, and now there's only one focal point, and it is the very first note. And I think the melody it sounds a lot prettier. So why don't we give it a listen? Okay, let's check that out. Okay, so you can hear the counterpoint. Right? It's moving in the opposite direction. So, and that's really cool. And I like the bass in the tenor line. So, and then the soprano and the alto. A lot of texture there. So one more time. fun is it to write this music if you're not going to play it, right? So hopefully you can see that there are multiple options and choices you can make, and it's like you know, being a composer all your own under certain guidelines, and I think you know, you just made something beautiful, and you can do the same. So I'll see you in the next section for the last progression in part E. Okay, until then, bye now. Greetings. Okay, so here we are for part E, and we are to harmonize. We're only going to do number 2, so we need to harmonize the melody by composing a bass line that will create good counterpoint with the melody, and that will imply a good harmonic progression. Complete the harmonization by filling in 2 inner voices, and try to include an appropriate 6/4 chord in each harmonization. So we're going to be doing number 2, and we're in F minor. So I already worked this out, so I'm just going to show you the step-by-step process that I use. The first thing I did was I harmonized the F minor scale in triads, and I just wrote the scale and then stacked it up in thirds, and then I did my Roman numeral analysis and lead sheet as well. That way, while I'm looking at the melody, I can figure out, you know, which chords would fit. So, like here we have a C, and we're in F minor, so we're going to start on the 1 chord. So I'll just put a 1 here, and then F minor. And the A flat is also, it's the 3rd of the F minor chord, so I just decided to keep it, and I chose to put my bass note here and make it a dotted half so it extends throughout the whole bar. So this bar is F minor, and then the next note is a G. So if we look here, that belongs to the 2 chord, and the 5 chord, and the 7 diminished chord. So I chose the 7 diminished, the E diminished in first inversion. So that would be E diminished over G. All right. Now, so I'll put that here. And 1 can move to any chord, and any chord can move to the 1 chord, right? So here we are. And I chose to have the bass just move up in contrary motion with the melody. So, okay. Now the next note is an A flat, and where does the 7 diminished like to go? Only one place. Likes to go home. Alright. This is a little screenshot I made of the harmonic progression in minor, and then you can find that on page 150 in the textbook. It's good to have by your side when you're doing something like this. You can see the 7 diminished likes to go to 1. Alright. And I also have my Toby brush handy. Part writing using inversions. Tells you the proper doubling, right? Just in case. So These are the three things that I have going before I even get started. Okay. Now, so we have the A flat. That's part of the. That's the third of the one chord. So let's just go back down to F. All right, and that's also moving in contrary motion. Really helps with the sound and with avoiding unwanted parallels. So let's do our lead sheet, F minor. The minus symbol also stands for minor. It's kind of a more contemporary, like a jazz thing. So you can do that if you like. Let's see, now we have the B flat. And the B flat is part of the G diminished, the 2 chord. It's the third. It's the root of the 4 chord, the B flat minor. And it is the 5th of the E diminished. So I chose to go from 1 to 4. And I also chose to make it an inversion. Kind of, instead of jumping all the way down to B flat, do B flat over D flat. Okay. So B flat minor over D flat. Now, sorry, I've been chewing gum. Now, sometimes I tend to chomp away at it, and I don't want to do that during the video, so I apologize. Anyhow, so let's keep going. And we're nearing the end here. I know that this is part of the 1 chord. This is part of the 5, the G, right? The C minor or C major triad. And this is 1. So 1, 5, 1, this would be a good spot for a cadential 6/4. So since the C is the bass note for the whole bar, I just made it a dotted half. Okay, and so we'll do the F minor over C, and then the C, and then we'll go on home to 1. Make it a low bass note. Notice how I started off higher, an octave above. It gives it a little fatter sound at the end. So this is the 1. We do our Roman numeral analysis for the whole thing now. 1. Then we have the 7 diminished 6, 7 diminished in first inversion. First inversion is the most common practice for diminished triads. And here we go, the 1. And then we have a minor 4 chord in first inversion. And then we have the 1, 6, 4. And then we have the 5 and the 1. Okay, so this is a cadential cadential 6/4. Okay, so now all that's left is to fill in the inner voices and harmonize this bass line. Lots of contrary motion. All right, some similar motion, but yeah, I think we're looking good. Now, let's fill in these in. The F, A flat, C. We got the C and the F, so let's do the A flat. And since it's the third of the chord, we can make it a dotted half note, so it carries through, or actually I chose to go, see, we'll make this one a dotted half note. And then, so we just need a C now. So we need the fifth of our chord, and put that here. Okay. Now, E diminished, E, G, B flat. There we go. And it's a good thing I put that C there, because if I would have had the A flat, we'd have had parallel octaves in soprano and bass. Alright. So, looking good. Now we have the F minor, and that can move right back up, the E to the F. It's the natural there. Alright, because that's the leading tone. You have the raised leading tone in the harmonic minor scale. Half step away from the tonic. Now, we just need the fifth of our chord, so the B flat can move right up to C. And B flat minor, B flat, D flat, F. We have a common tone. And you can double the soprano. For nice, smooth voice leading. No parallels. And now the F minor. So yeah, keep that common tone again. And then move this up to C. And we've doubled the bass. Now move that F back down to E natural. It's a major triad, right? And we can keep that the same. These voices are still being heard throughout this chord. And now we can frustrate the leading tone because it's in an inner voice. Normally it wants to resolve up, but when it's in an inner voice, we can have it resolve down a third. And then we need the third of our chord, and we have the A flat here. Okay, so that's what I did. Hopefully this is helpful to you and you're doing all right with your theory. So I'll go ahead and play it for you, and then we'll say see you next time. Okay, so stay tuned for the music. Bye now. Okay, so I'm going to play the little piece that we just put together, and let's hear how it sounds. like it. I especially like the end with the cadential 6/4. Right? Adds a little tension there. Delays the resolution of that 5, and so I hope you enjoyed it, and I hope you enjoyed this video, and I also hope that it's helping you, and I hope that you're creating beautiful music with this, and so I'd encourage you to maybe try to play some of your pieces on the piano and bring them to life, because that's what music is. It's alive. It's not just these notes on the page and little scribbles and things. It's a living, beautiful thing, and so enjoy, and I'll see you in the next one. God bless.